guys, we're here today at Anna's Garden Blueberry Farm. Thanks for having us, Miss Beth.
Good morning, Melissa and Jessica and
Yes.
Scott.
Good morning.
I'm glad to have you here today to share a little bit about what we do out at Anna's Garden.
Well, thank you so much for having us. We're excited to be here. Now tell us where we are and about these beautiful blueberry bushes.
Okay, we are in what we call Field 3 and of Anna's Garden. It was one of the earlier fields that we planted. So this field is about 8 years old now.
Oh, yeah.
And so it's at a real mature point for blueberry bushes. The volume is increasing each year, and so we really are pleased with the volume that's here. We'll be picking these berries later in the afternoon. These are a blueberry called a rabbit eye.
And what kinds of is this the only kind of blueberry that y'all have?
No, we also have high bush. High bush blueberries is a general variety, high bush and rabbit eye. High bush come in earlier in the season, and we've just finished picking those.
Okay, so
that's what
the
people
first
have
good
had. Those are the
blueberries
first
so
good
far.
blueberries. So that's what people have had at this point. So now we'll be picking these rabbit eyes, which I really enjoy. They're easier to take care of. They're less prone to disease. They really have a lot of volume this year, as you can tell. And so we'll probably pick these berries about 3 times, maybe 4.
Wow.
Maybe 4, because you see all of them are not blue
At different
at
stages.
one time. So
Sure.
that is, we pick with a harvester now, and that makes us have to be a little more aware of what percentage of blue is on the bush, because the machine does not know the difference between red and green and blue. So that depends on the driver. We have 2 great drivers, Samuel Cook and Nathan Carswell, and they do a great job for us. And so they know the speed of the machine, how the sway bars work, and we have just really learned this year that we can turn those sway bars off and on. Like sometimes you'll go down a row and there won't be very many berries on the bush. Well, we can turn the bars off, still go over that row, and not knock the berries off that are not ready to come off. So it's a real interesting process. It takes 5 people to run that harvester.
Wow.
We used the last people we had in our fields, we had 85 workers.
Wow.
And it's stressful, and you have to have a picking wagon and buckets, and you have to make sure everybody's washing their hands and that kind of thing. You still have to do that on the harvester, but no hands really touch these berries.
Right.
Because they're picked by the harvester. If we pack them, then they go to our packing facility, and they're poured into a hopper, and the ladies on the grading line have on gloves, and then they're packed. So as far as food safety goes, it's a really a very amazing process, and it makes food safety a lot easier.
Sure. Well, and it sounds like y'all have gone from having a lot of people having a really labor-intensive process to being much more efficient with the
Yes,
farm.
and that's due to 2 things. One is the efficiency, and the other is the lack of labor and the inconsistency of labor showing up.
Right.
So we knew we could not just leave all these berries on the bush. So we bit the bullet probably earlier than some smaller farms usually would, but it was paid off for us in the long run.
Sure.
Because last year was our first 100% machine picked year, and we were very pleased, and we had good pack out rates, and we still market with Dole Berry Company. So it has been such a good relationship with us. And then of course 2 years ago we opened our packing facility at Mallard Point, which was the old golf course, and so we pack locally for that. Now I really enjoy that. I need 12 people on my line, and fortunately this year I've had those people. Some people have been with me before, and I've got some new younger people, so that's good. I have a group of ladies on my grading line, which has really made a difference. And so we pack just strictly for our local people. And local meaning Wilcox County, Crisp County. I have some people who come from Dublin, and then of course our wonderful Fitzgerald people. And that has been fun for me, and I like that part of it. I wish we could do more, but they only last so long. So I don't like to pack much more than we know we're going to sell. I always do some extras, but I want people to have the freshest product that they can have. And on the grocery store shelves, and I know, you don't know how long they've been in a truck to get there. You don't know how long they sat on the dock. And I'm not against that, don't get me wrong. But when you buy from a local farmer, you know exactly where they've come from, what they've done, and that kind of thing. So these berries are not organic. I have a lot of people asking me that. They're not organic, but they have no pesticides sprayed on them. I don't spray pesticides. Of course, we're fortunate I don't need to, but I don't think I would at that part. I've never had to do that. So fungicides, yes, they have fungicides on them before harvest to keep disease down and that kind of thing. But even organic berries still have things sprayed on them. They're not berries that have not had anything put on them. They're just products that are specific for organic certified. Yeah.
Well, that's awesome. And I say, a lot of times organic is great, but really I think there's a lot of value in just knowing your farmer.
That is a great thing.
Knowing who you're buying your
and knowing
fruit
who you're
from.
buying your fruit from. And when you go to a farmer's market, or if you come out here, or you come to Mallard Point or anything, I think that's been a lot of it. People know they're getting a good product, and that I'm not going to sell them an inferior product.
That's right. Well, thank you so much for telling us about the blueberries, and maybe we could go look around a little bit.
Sure,
All
sure.
right.
That'll be great.
Welcome to another episode of Cooking with the Chamber. We're so excited. We're going to have a good old-fashioned summertime cookout today. We are so excited. Tell them what we're cooking today, Scott.
So we're doing just a regular cookout, hamburgers, hot dogs. We've got something special as a side item. We'll talk about that when we start getting everything prepped.
That's right, but the most exciting part of today is we've got our special guest chef. We are so excited today to have with us the Blueberry Queen herself, Beth McIntyre, is here with us. Come on in, Beth. Thank you so much for being here with us today. Tell us what we're going to make with some yummy blueberries.
Well, we're going to make a blueberry cobbler.
Ooh.
Pretty
Sounds good.
simple, not very many ingredients, and quite tasty.
Perfect
And
for a
we're
cookout.
also, it is great for a cookout. And we're also going to make homemade blueberry ice cream.
Y'all,
Yeah.
I have a feeling that's going to be the showstopper today.
It's a great recipe. It's an old-timey recipe and easy to make.
All right, awesome. Well, thank you so much. Oh, we've also got assisting with us today.
Oh, absolutely. Our sous chef,
Our sous chef,
once again,
Caroline Spivey.
Caroline Spivey.
Yay.
So is this her fourth
Fourth or
appearance?
fifth?
Fourth or fifth?
I think so.
Girl.
I
Yeah.
think they're my
Career in
favorite.
the making.
That's right.
Could
That's
be.
right.
Absolutely.
And we couldn't do it without our whole team here. So we are super excited to get cooking today. And yeah, let's get started.
Let's get started.
I'm for it.
All right.
Go ahead.
All right, Miss Beth, what are we going to make today?
Today we are going to make blueberry cobbler,
Yum.
as well as blueberry ice cream, and of course using Anna's garden blueberries
Oh my
that
goodness.
were just picked on Tuesday and packed on Thursday.
It doesn't get much fresher than that.
No, it does not. It does not.
What will we
So,
make first?
well, we're going to go ahead and start the cobbler
Okay.
and get it in the oven. And our helper today is Caroline Spivey, and she's going to be my assistant.
Okay, perfect.
And the first thing I'm going to ask her to do is to melt this 1/4 of a cup of margarine, butter, and for about 30 seconds, be perfect in the microwave. While she's doing that, I'm going to pour a complete container of Anna's Garden blueberries. That's about 2 cups.
Let's show. And you had already greased your pan.
Yes, I had already put a little butter in the pan. I like to do that. And I'm actually going to add some more blueberries because I like, if you don't mind handing me
I don't mind at all.
another pack of blueberries, I'm going to put about half. So I like almost 3 cups of blueberries in my cobbler. Now this is an 8x8 pan. And I just, if we're gonna have blueberry cobbler, we might as well have blueberry cobbler.
Okay, so you did another half.
I did another half, so probably 3 cups of fresh blueberries. You can do it with frozen, but I prefer, of course, fresh. But once the fresh season's over, we have to do it with frozen.
That's right, we have to deal.
Then I'm going to take a half a cup of sugar, almost, and I'm gonna just sprinkle it over these blueberries. And I'm going to take just a little bit of cinnamon. And it gives it an interesting little taste. Now, one thing I will tell you, what I did one time was, I picked up the cayenne pepper instead of the cinnamon for some guests I was having at Anna's garden. So we tasted it and I thought, oh, that seems a little warm. But they ate it, they didn't say anything, and then when I got home I realized I picked up the cayenne pepper. So do not pick up the cayenne pepper. So then, that's right. We're going to take this 1/4 cup of butter that Caroline melted for us, and I'm going to just pour it over the blueberry, sugar, and cinnamon mixture. Then I'm going to take an entire stick of butter, and I'm going to ask Caroline to melt this for me as well. I have this little bowl I like to melt my margarine in because did you notice the didn't get hot?
I noticed that.
Yeah, it's my favorite. It's my favorite melter. I don't know where it came from, but I like it. So I had pre-measured a cup of flour. 1 cup of flour, I'm going to pour into my bowl.
We're mixing up the crust.
We're mixing up the crust. Yes, we're done with the inside of the blueberries. We're mixing up the crust. I had already mixed 1 cup of self-rising flour. So I have that in my bowl, self-rising flour. And then I'm going to add 1 egg, and I just hit it with a knife or whatever I have. This happens to be a fork. I actually like mixing with this big fork. It just works well for me.
It's kind of like a mix between a spoon and a whisk.
It is. That's exactly right. A spork.
It's a sport.
It's a spork. Then I'm going to add a cup of sugar, and I'm going to mix that all around. Now this batter will not be very liquidy. I like to see that gets all mixed together. It's a little crumbly, but once we add this butter to this, it will be just like we want it to be. And we have our oven preheating to 350. Is what we have.
Tell us again what's in the
Okay, in the topping is 1 cup of self-rising flour, 1 cup of sugar, 1 egg, and we're going to put a stick of butter. And I'm also going to add a little bit of vanilla. I like vanilla and stuff. I only had a little bit, so it's a good thing that's all we're adding. So we're adding a little bit of vanilla. But I was told that whatever ingredients I used, they would be put back into my kitchen so that I would not be adding anything. But anyway, I'm not sure if that was in the contract or not. Caroline, I'm going to let you pour the butter in. Just pour it all in as fine. And I'm going to mix that around. And it's going to be more like
It is just a little crumbly
it's just crumbly dough. It's basically
Not
what
really
it is.
cake batter.
Now, if you want it to be a little bit more liquidy, I have added another egg. I'm not going to add another egg today because they say you shouldn't do anything the first time when you're doing something like when somebody comes to see you and all that stuff. So I'm going to take this pan of blueberries that we have, and you got the dough. You see the dough.
Yeah.
you could pick it up with your hands. This is I like this little bowl too, because for some reason, everything just pours out of it. And you don't have to, I don't even know how long I've had that bowl. But, and you can tell that I take this fork and just kind of press this dough around. It's not real, you'll just see. It's almost like a, well, it's not like a biscuit dough because it has too much butter in it, but
it kind of has
it
that
is.
consistency.
It does have that consistency. So your pan will look like this, and I always like to
I like that
just.
you can see the blueberries.
Yes, I do too. I like to just put just a tad. Y'all know what a tad is. Of sugar just on the top, just a little bit.
That kind of, will that brown it make a little crunchy?
It will, it will. And so this goes into your oven at 350 for 45 minutes. Now you may have to check on your oven because some ovens, you know, are hotter than others. So 45 minutes is what I like, but you can keep a check on it at about 35. And if you want it to be browner, if you like yours gooier, you can, but I would say 45 minutes.
All right, let's do it. This looks so good. I'm gonna get a little close up here on it so folks can see.
You set the timer. Okay.
All right.
All right, now let her
Here we go. Set the timer. $45 minutes.
All right.
We'll be having ice cream and cobbler.
Well, now we're going to make some blueberry ice cream, Scott.
Ooh, outstanding.
Now, vanilla ice cream's great with blueberry cobbler, but I like to make blueberry ice cream, and I wish I had the chance to make it all the time, but I don't. But we're gonna make that this morning, and I want it known that the churn we will be using, Caroline, hold that up. This churn was purchased in 1974. It is a rival yogurt and ice cream freezer, and it has served me well, and my children extremely well.
That's
So
cool.
this recipe actually is a recipe of their grandfather's. His name was, they called him Lucky, and he lived in Waycross, Georgia, and he could make the best peach ice cream ever. So I'm using his peach ice cream recipe, but I'm changing it to blueberry, so I don't think he would mind. Now he had a big 6-quart churn, and that's what the original recipe calls for. So I've modified it because I only have a 4-quart churn. So we're gonna modify a little bit, and I've changed it up, but we're gonna start with 4 eggs. So I'm gonna put 4 eggs. Caroline, you can be shaking those up and opening those. Now I have brown eggs. I love brown eggs. And I love, you know, you can get eggs at G&L Pond, and you can get fresh eggs.
You
She
can get brown
has those
eggs.
free range
Yeah.
chickens at G&L Pond. And also Holly Hickey Anderson, who is our extension agent, she has eggs, and she has lots of different kind of chickens. And I've had brown eggs and blue eggs, and it is so fun
Blue
to
egg.
have eggs from free range chickens.
What's a blue egg?
It's an egg that looks like this, only it's very light blue. It comes from a certain kind of chicken.
Really?
Yes.
Is that like
And
an
it's
Easter
pretty
egg?
cool.
Pre-made?
Well, I guess you could call it that. Okay, to those 4 eggs, we're going to add 2 cups of sugar. So I had brought it in my container, and then I'm going to measure it up. Now, you will notice that my cups don't have any like 1 cup, half cup, because they've been worn off. So you better know what you're doing. So this is 2 cups of sugar. And I'm gonna I like to mix this with a whisk. So I'm gonna mix that up, and then I'm going to, I'm gonna let Caroline pour evaporated milk. We're gonna use 4 cans of evaporated milk in this ice cream. So she's gonna pour those in there. You just whisk it. However you wanna do that's fine. And while she's pouring, I'm gonna mix it up. Of course, if you're doing it by yourself and you don't have a good helper like Caroline, you just have to pour it in mix. But it doesn't really make any difference. So we got two more. Scott's a little slower than Caroline, but we're gonna pour this, another, that's the third evaporated milk. And then eventually we're gonna have the fourth evaporated milk. And so while he's doing that, I'm going to add 1 can of condensed milk.
My machine ain't working very good over here. Let's see if we can get it to pour out.
Okay, go ahead, Scott, pour that
Well,
on
the
in.
electrical will make so much noise.
Yeah.
Look at that,
So-
it pours through the
I
crack.
know, it'll do that.
Will you tell
So
us
we're
again
adding,
what
we've
is
got
it?
4 eggs,
4 eggs,
2 cups of sugar,
2 cups of sugar.
4 evaporated milks, and 1 condensed milk. And I'm gonna make sure that's all together. And then I'm gonna add 1 pint of half and half.
That makes it creamy.
1/2 pint of half and half. Now there are ice cream recipes that have sweet milk in it, like whole milk, whatever y'all call it. And you can certainly do that. But this recipe I think is creamier because there's not any sweet milk in it. That tends to make a little grainier ice cream. I'm not saying it's bad because I'll eat anything. But this recipe that was Lucky's is just a wonderful recipe. Now I'm using my little NutriBullet, and I have put just a little bit of the half and half in there with about 2 cups of blueberries. So that is going to be my, it's better to really blend them or grind them up, because if you leave them whole, you don't really get the color, well you don't get the color, and you don't get the real flavor of the blueberries. So this mixture's like this, it just has a little bit of, I just put a little bit of that,
I'm just gonna see if I
half
can get
and
that
half in there,
color, Beth.
just to give it some color and to make the blueberries not be so dry. So basically your ice cream is going to be purple, but it's going to turn blue. And I'm going to mix this up really, really well. And you can see that that mixture is
Good
a bluish tint.
Yep.
So now, after trying many times in the past to pour this mixture into the ice cream container and spill half of it, I finally decided I would get a little 4-cup measuring cup, and I'll take it and I will just pour it into this churn. Now I go ahead and leave my paddles in, because I just like to do it that way. If you don't like to do it that way, you may certainly modify this in any way you would like to. But I'm just showing you my way.
Now, Miss Beth, is this the ice cream that you made around Christmas
Yes,
time?
this is the
same.
recipe that I made around Christmas time that I sold out in about 1 hour.
You were on the street selling
I was
ice
on
cream.
the street.
I remember that.
And, you know, I was on the street selling ice cream. So I have this. I'm going to put it in my churn. I'm going to take my top and put it on. And then I'm going to take the,
Oh, yeah.
and stick these still, I mean, like it still works, y'all. Hooks over right there. Now the next part is getting your ice around it and your salt. Now the key to me to this is using good ice. If you try to use ice out of your refrigerator, it'll work, but boy, it takes a long time. So I just like to use any kind of crushed ice. This particular ice came from an ice machine at McIntyre Farms. So I do the ice, and I put a little layer of ice all the way around. And then I'm gonna put some salt.
So you don't put all the ice in and then salt,
No,
you mix it.
you have to make layers.
Yes, later.
Because
Okay.
that makes the cold
Colder.
go up. It does. But see, if you put all the ice in and then you put the salt, then all your cold is up here at the top.
Right.
So you want to put your ice, salt, so that you have your cold layer going all the way up the churn. And it just seems to do better to me that way. And I learned that from back in Leah's grandfather as well. And I will tell you this, because I've done this before. If by some chance you can't find ice cream salt or kosher salt, you can use regular salt. But it takes a lot of it. It would take a whole box of salt to do this. And
Don't
I've done it
skip on the
before
salt.
because I decided I'm making ice cream and I didn't have any ice cream. And there wasn't anywhere to go get any at that particular time. And so I just did it with regular salt. But just know, so if you think, oh, I'd make some ice cream, but I don't have any salt, just use regular salt. It's just gonna take a lot of it. That's all. Okay, then I'm gonna put my layer of ice here. And then I'm gonna plug in the churn and it's going to begin to churn.
There we go.
So you're gonna watch it, and when the ice starts to melt down a little bit, you're gonna add a little more salt, a little more ice, a little more salt, a little more ice. Now this is gonna take about 40-45 minutes. So you just have to watch it. Don't go off and leave it, because if you do, and this stops, you're gonna burn up the churn, and you're not gonna have any ice cream.
Right.
So somebody has to be in charge of this.
Right.
So that's all there is to blueberry ice cream.
I can't wait to try it.
Well, it's
Very good.
delicious.
45 minutes. We'll be eating.
45 minutes, we'll be eating some ice cream.
There you go. Okay, so what we're gonna do today for our side, instead of doing traditional French fries and potato chips that people usually do with hamburgers and hot dogs, we're doing a tomato stuffed with ratatouille. So, you know, we found...
That's fancy, Scott.
Well, it's not real fancy, but we found it several years ago, and they're extremely good. So what you do is you take some just regular, these are regular sliced tomatoes.
Okay.
And we're gonna take this spoon, Caroline's gonna do this, and we're gonna go just around the edge of this tomato, and we're gonna hollow this tomato out. So we're gonna take everything on the inside out. So if you'll just start right there, baby,
Show
and
us
just
your
work your way
technique,
around.
Caroline.
Yeah, so you just kind of have to you just gotta kind of jam it in there.
Okay.
And what you're doing is you're sort of hitting these, I don't know what they're called,
Oh,
but
those
the
little
connectors,
Yeah.
whatever those are. So you kind of, and you sort of go down with the contour of the tomato, and just sort of work your way in it. And as you work your way around, you'll get the whole inside of that tomato out. And then now what we do with the inside is we put them in a bowl, we save them, and then if everybody remembers back to the very first Cooking with the Chamber, we did fajitas with salsa.
Right.
So there's your perfect ingredient for the salsa.
That's
That
so
way you don't
smart.
waste it. So now what we're gonna do so let's take this spoon, and it gets kind of tough on the inside. You just really gotta kind of dig in there, dig all the way around in there and get as much of that out as you can. What you want is you want the outside of this tomato. You don't want all the inside. A little bit of inside left is fine, but you want to get as much of that out as you can. Just kind of dig it. There's no pretty way to do it.
Right.
Just get in there, get it out, get you a good hollow shell, about like that.
So almost like a stuffed pepper. Or
Correct.
something.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Is that, okay.
Absolutely. Same idea. And so then what we'll do is we'll get just a little table salt, and we'll salt it. You want that salt to get on the inside
Okay.
as much as possible, and we'll take a little pepper. Now you can use ground pepper if you want to get real fancy, or you can just take a little pepper out of your shaker on the table, get it in there, and so you just get that salt and peppered up really good.
Okay. Okay, you've got that kind of a lot of seasoning on there.
Right.
Okay.
And so what we'll do is we'll do all our tomatoes. We'll get them lined up and set up and ready. We'll put these on the grill first, upside down. so that the heat can kind of cook them from the inside out, get them a little soft, and then we'll fill them with our ratatouille.
Well, I'm excited to see this.
Absolutely.
All right, sounds good. We'll go to the grill.
So what we're going to do now, we've got all of our tomatoes that we prepped before. We've got them hollowed out. We've got the salt and pepper on them. So now Caroline's going to take all of these and she's going to flip them upside down. You'll notice we got our pan really greased up. So you're going to make sure they don't stick. So let's just take them and flip them upside down on our grill pan. We'll put 3 rows of 2. There we go. Okay, so now that we've got them all upside down on the pan, we're going to set the pan straight over the coals. And so this is not one of the things you want to cook with indirect heat. You want it to be right over the coals.
Okay.
Because you really want that heat to get up in that tomato. That's going to cook it down and start to make it tender.
Okay.
We're going to put the top down about 10 minutes like this, and then we'll take them off. We'll fill them up with our ratatouille, and they'll be ready to go.
Sounds good.
Because ratatouille is not just a movie. It's actually a food ingredient. So it's this kind of chopped up stuff. I don't know how else to describe it. So in ours, what we have is we've got some red onion. We got a bell pepper. We got some squash, some zucchini, some fresh basil, and this is fresh Parmesan cheese.
Okay, that looks really good.
And so now all of these things, so we get the onions, the bell peppers, the squash from G&L or Bishop's. The Romano cheese you can pick up wherever you buy your cheese at. You can generally get that most anywhere. Our zucchini and our basil all came from the elementary school. So my wife, Susan, is the STEAM teacher, and they have a horticulture program going where they're growing things in a garden.
Oh, how neat.
Those ingredients came out of their garden. So these were grown by the kids at the elementary school in the STEAM program.
Fun.
So one of the
Way
great
to go,
things,
kids.
one of the great things about this dish is you can pick up the ingredients from your local market, or you can grow them in your backyard or get them at your farmer's market.
Awesome. And these are pretty simple ingredients, and these are really summery.
They are. They are.
Things okay, now what is the proportion here?
So we did one of each. We've got 1 zucchini, 1 piece of squash, one squash.
Okay, 1 zucchini, 1 squash.
1 bell pepper, 1 red onion. And then for the basil, we just took 4 or 5 leaves of basil. We chopped it up real fine. For the Parmesan cheese, we just grated enough Parmesan cheese to kind of cover the top, and then we mixed it together, and we put in just a little dash of olive oil. Just to
that's what that's the only liquid or anything like that.
That's the only thing in there that's liquid, and that's just to give them a little bit of coat, so that they won't dry out too much.
Well, it's really pretty, and this is going to look really great with our meal. So it's kind of an upscale cookout.
There you go.
I like it.
Yeah,
well,
cookout with class.
Well, we wouldn't have anything different than that.
Okay, so now we're going to put our hamburgers on the grill. So these are just hamburger patties that we patted out. You pick up this meat at Stone's or HL's. Hey, go to HL and he'll pat them out for you even better. Makes it a lot easier. So we're going to take these. We're just going to lay them on the grill.
My hands are clean.
They're clean.
That's a good clarification, Caroline.
All right, so now what we're going to do, and we use a seasoning, and this is a seasoning that we mixed up at the house. We put it on top. After we get them all patted out, we get them seasoned up real good. And now we'll cook these. We've got this over direct heat. Our coals are really hot. We'll cook them about 4 or 5 minutes on one side. We'll flip them over, cook them about 4 or 5 minutes on the other side, and then they're done.
All right, I can't wait.
You can see we got our tomatoes going over here still, and you can see that they're cooking away. With that steam coming up out of there, those things are going to be fantastic.
So good. This smells good.
All right, so what we're going to do now, our tomatoes have cooked on the bottom. We're going to flip these over, and they're usually not terribly hot, but they can get warm. So you may want to get you some little prongs to grab them with.
Right. We're just
They-
going to
they
push
should-
through here
yeah,
now, I
They
guess.
should pull up pretty good. Flip them over.
Okay, those look
And you,
great.
and you can tell that these have cooked because they're starting to break down a little bit. We probably cooked these a little too much on some of them, but it'll be okay.
Hey, you know
We'll
what? That's
fix
all
those.
right.
Yeah.
We just carry on.
That's right. That's right. So you just roll them over just like that, and get them sitting up just kind of like a bowl.
All these are right. I think this one may just have been a little riper or something.
That could be what it is. We'll get those to roll up just like a bowl, get them back in place. And what we're gonna do now is we've got our sous chef Caroline back with us. We're gonna take our ratatouille
Okay.
that we talked about inside, and we're not gonna fill these all the way up.
Okay.
We're gonna put 2 or 3 scoops in them. Kind of tap it down just a little bit on the inside. Put one right there. And so when we get it just about like that, then we're going to come back over the top of it, and we're going to fill in the crevice on these with mozzarella cheese.
Ooh.
So we got a little bit of grated Parmesan cheese on the inside of these. And so then on the top, we're going to put the
Oh,
mozzarella.
in the mixture. The
Right,
Parmesan's in the mixture.
In the
Okay.
ratatouille,
Right.
a little bit of Parmesan. And then on the top, we're going to put a little bit of mozzarella, and that's just going to melt down into it. Man, it makes these things so good. And hey, even though this one's struggling, we're going to use her anyway.
Hey, that's all right.
That's going to be more like of a tomato ratatouille pizza.
That's right. Don't let that
Yeah.
hold you back,
Nah.
guys. It doesn't always turn out perfect, but
Doesn't
it'll
have
still
to
be good.
Hey, it looks like Pac-Man.
That's right.
It does.
Oh, it does look like Pac-Man.
All right, so now let's get a little bit of mozzarella cheese. Let's cover them real good with that mozzarella, and then we'll get them back on the grill. 10 minutes. So
That's
you
a
don't-
hot grill.
Yeah, you don't want your ingredients on the inside to be extremely well cooked. You
Okay.
still want them to be crunchy. So about 10 minutes, these things will be perfect, and they'll be ready to come up.
So really, are we kind of looking for just the cheese to melt
Yeah.
and kind of?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep, that's it. Yep.
All right, you're gonna
Okay.
help me.
All right, very good.
All right, today we're gonna make. I mean, I don't really know what it's called. Maybe a gin and tonic.
Gin and tonic.
Yeah, but it's sort of a summery, fun drink
Right.
to go with our fancy barbecue.
So what
today.
goes in it?
I'm not gonna say fancy barbecue because that sounds like barbecue.
Okay.
I'm gonna say with our fancy cookout.
Yeah, there
To
you
go with our fancy cookout today.
There you go. So tell us what the ingredients are.
Okay, we're gonna put. I'm gonna go ahead and start here. We're gonna put. To make one drink, you're gonna put the juice of 1 lime, just 1 lime wedge.
Okay.
Okay, and I usually throw it all in there.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, just
good.
why not?
There
I
you
don't
go.
know.
Why not? I like it.
And then an orange wedge.
Okay.
Gonna put that in there.
Okay.
And I'm gonna not put that one in there because he falls apart a little bit
Okay.
for me. And then if you like, do you like a sweeter drink or not so sweet?
I like it not so sweet.
Not so sweet, me too. And so if you would like, you could put a sugar cube in here.
Really? Okay.
If you like a sweet drink,
Yeah.
add a sugar cube.
There you
One
go.
should do it. And then we're gonna add, we've gotten this from Frosty's. Isn't this a pretty bottle?
Very well.
Blue
yeah.
for Blueberries.
There you go. Look at there.
This is Gray Whale Gin we
Right.
got from Frosty's, and we're gonna just add 1 ounce to our drink. Okay, and then that we've got some ice in our shaker,
Okay.
and we're going to add club soda to this, and this will just give it a little fizz.
There you go.
Okay, I think that's probably
All right.
about right. What do you think?
That looks good.
Okay, help me assemble this.
All right.
here.
So then we put our top on, and then we put our top on our top.
That makes sense.
And so then if you want to shake it, just hold it all together.
Here we go.
Just shake it up. There you go.
And we should be good.
Yeah. So now to pour it, pull that and just hold it. What the
Like
top?
this?
Yeah. While you're pouring it, because it likes to shoot off a little bit.
Okay, okay. Here we go. Here we go. All right, that just worked out just right then.
And then if you want to add a little ice to that, then you
Okay.
can. Yep.
Yeah, there we go. And that just gonna add a little ice there.
Right.
Okay, and then we'll add a little
Look at
lime
that.
to it.
Perfect.
There you go, a little gin and tonic for your cookout. Thanks,
Nice.
Frosty.
I like it. All right, so our hamburgers are done. We cooked them for about 8-9 minutes. So we're going to start taking those up and get them ready to fix inside.
It smells ready.
It is ready. The timer has just gone off, so I'm turning off my oven.
Okay.
Oh my goodness. Doesn't that look beautiful?
It looks so
It's juicy in there.
And
You
I can
see a
see the
little bit of the
sugar. Oh
You
my
have to be careful with these pans, but I'm going to let
Wow.
it sit a little bit over here. And then we'll be able to scoop it right up.
Wow.
Oh, doesn't that crust look good?
It looks so good and it smells amazing. I
And
wish
you
y'all
see
could
the
smell.
sugar just kind of crystallizes on there and just gives it a little bit of a sparkle.
And the blueberries
And
are
you can
kinda
see the
popping up a
blueberries.
little
If we left
here.
it in there a little bit longer, they would bubble up. But sometimes I
Yes.
don't like to do that. But it's
Yes,
plenty
it
going
looks
now. And it'll
amazing.
be great with our ice cream.
Can't wait to try it. Okay guys, y'all are just getting the hot dogs ready.
We are. So we just got the hot dogs spread out. It doesn't take hot dogs long to cook, but you can't have a good hamburger cookout without
That's
hot
right.
dogs.
That's right.
So we've got them on there. We're just going to roll them over, let them brown up good on both sides all the way around. And in just a couple of minutes, these things will be done, and we'll be inside eating our cookout food.
All right, sounds good to me.
It has finished. The cobbler is out. The ice cream is done. Very seldom does that happen simultaneously.
I wanna get
I've
a-
taken the top off, so that's our blueberry ice cream.
Yum. Oh, that looks so good.
And Jessica, I'm gonna let you dip up some
gonna let me
cobbler.
dip it? Ooh. I like big servings.
Would you have yourself all up, and I'll hold the bowl.
Ooh.
I don't think
It's
yeah.
got some crunch
It's not real
to it.
hot. Yeah, it's got some crunch, and it's got some juice. I think. I
Oh
hope.
yes.
Oh,
Get you
yeah.
some of those blueberries.
Look at those blueberries. They've just cooked down into.
Man.
Oh, that looks
Okay,
so good.
and we will come around here, and I'll put you a little dollop of ice cream on here.
Oh my
Oh,
goodness.
man. There you go.
Man.
Blueberry supreme
yum.
right there.
Okay,
All right, guys, this looks amazing. It's gotten a little hot outside, so we decided to bring our cookout inside.
That's one of the things about Southern cookouts.
That's
Never
right.
cool.
We can get a little warm. But we're so excited to eat our food. Thank you so much for being here, Miss Beth. And
It
for
was my
cooking
pleasure.
for
It's
us.
so much fun. I could come weekly.
Yeah.
Well, don't tempt us, but we might bring you in weekly. So thank y'all for watching today. We'll link these recipes, so because I know people are going to want to make these fun dishes at your own home. And remember, you can get all of these things locally at our shops and retailers, and a lot of these you can purchase online through Virtual Mail.
Absolutely. Yeah. Go online, buy your stuff, have a cookout, and have a great summer.
That's right. Happy summer, everybody. Bye.